After 70, many of us believe that more checkups mean more safety. We line up for scans, tests, and procedures, trusting that every one of them is protecting our future. But here's the hidden truth. Not all checkups are helpful. Some can quietly create more harm than good, leading to anxiety, unnecessary treatments, and sometimes even dangerous complications. In fact, a study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that nearly 1 in 3 tests done on adults over 70 led to treatments that offered little to no benefit, but carried real risks. And according to research from the American College of Radiology, routine full-body scans may even increase cancer risk rather than prevent it. That doesn't mean we should fear medicine. Modern healthcare saves lives every single day. But it does mean we need wisdom to know which tests truly protect us and which ones might take away our peace of mind, or worse, our health. At Golden Pathways, we believe health after 70 should feel empowering, not frightening. So today, let's walk together through 4 common health checkups you may want to think twice about. By the end, you'll know when to say yes and when it's perfectly okay to say no, thank you. But before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever done a test or scan that left you more worried than reassured? Share your story in the comments. We read every one. So let's begin our journey. The first test on our list may surprise you because it sounds so gentle, almost harmless. But for many seniors, it can quietly create more worry than wellness. I'm talking about the bone density scan. Checkup M4, bone density scan, DEXA. It sounds so harmless, doesn't it? A quick scan, no needles, no pain. You walk in, they measure your bones, and you leave thinking you know whether you're at risk for fractures. But here's something most people don't realize. After 70, these scans almost always come back showing low bone density. Why? Because bone loss is simply a part of aging, just like gray hair or wrinkles. It doesn't always mean danger. And yet thousands of seniors are placed on medications the moment their scan shows a dip. These drugs promise stronger bones, but they often bring unwelcome guests: stomach irritation, acid reflux, aching jaws, even brittle bones that break in unusual ways. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a 75-year-old who loved tending her roses every morning. She went for her annual checkup, and the scan said her bones were weak. Fear crept in. Her doctor prescribed medication right away. Within weeks, she developed painful heartburn. By the time she came to see us, she could hardly kneel to touch the soil she adored. Instead of more pills, we focused on nature's medicine: gentle weight-bearing exercises, sunlight for vitamin D, and a diet rich in calcium from sardines, leafy greens, and almonds. A year later, Eleanor was back in her garden, stronger, steadier, and smiling again. A scan may give numbers, but numbers aren't the whole story. For many people over 70 who are not falling, not breaking bones, the better path is movement, nourishment, and balance. Remember, health is not just about what shows up on a machine, it's about what you can do each day, joyfully and without fear. Checkup number 3, brain MRI for mild memory loss. Forgetfulness is one of the scariest things we face as we age. Misplacing our glasses, forgetting a neighbor's name, or walking into a room and not remembering why, these little lapses often spark a deep fear. Is this the beginning of dementia? Doctors, wanting to reassure us, often suggest a brain MRI. It sounds logical. Take a picture of the brain, find the problem, and fix it. But here's the truth. For most seniors over 70, an MRI rarely provides the answers you're hoping for. Why? Because our brains naturally change with age. On an MRI, those changes often appear as white matter spots or slight shrinkage. To a medical eye, these are simply signs of getting older, as ordinary as wrinkles on the skin. But once written in a medical report, the words "abnormal finding" can create panic. And panic leads to more tests: spinal taps, repeat scans, even biopsies. None of these make your memory sharper. In fact, the stress alone can make forgetfulness worse. Let me share a story. Harold, a 73-year-old retired carpenter, came to us worried that he was losing his mind. He had started misplacing his tools, something that never happened before. His doctor ordered an MRI. The scan showed small white spots, common at his age, but the report didn't say normal for seniors. It said, abnormal white matter changes. Harold went home convinced he had early Alzheimer's. He stopped driving. He stopped meeting his friends at the cafe. Even his wife noticed he seemed older overnight. Not because his brain had changed, but because fear had taken hold. When we reassessed him with a simple cognitive test, a short series of memory and problem-solving questions done on paper, his score was perfectly normal for his age. We explained that those MRI abnormalities were in fact ordinary age-related changes. Harold was relieved, but it took months for him to regain confidence. What helped him most wasn't another scan, it was lifestyle. Sleeping better, drinking more water, and doing daily brain games like crossword puzzles and memory cards. This is the quiet danger of unnecessary MRIs. The test itself isn't harmful, it's the fear, the cascade of follow-ups, and sometimes even invasive procedures that can follow. Now let's be clear. MRIs are valuable in the right circumstances. If someone develops sudden confusion, seizures, a drastic change in personality, or rapid decline in memory, then an MRI may reveal treatable conditions like a stroke or a tumor. But for mild forgetfulness, the kind most of us experience, it rarely brings clarity. A better first step is often the simplest, a cognitive screening test done in the clinic. It's low cost, low risk, and gives a far clearer picture of memory health than a scan ever could. And beyond testing, we can protect our memory through daily habits. Studies show that seniors who sleep 7 to 8 hours, stay socially engaged, and challenge their brains with learning, whether it's puzzles, new hobbies, or even music, have slower cognitive decline than those who isolate or rely only on medication. So the next time you forget where you left your keys, remember this: not every lapse is a disease. Sometimes it's fatigue, sometimes it's distraction, sometimes it's just being human. Your brain is not defined by a picture on a screen. It's defined by how you live, connect, and nurture it each day. And that is something an MRI can never measure. So if an MRI can sometimes cause more worry than wellness, what about our hearts? After all, chest tightness, fatigue, or a racing pulse can feel frightening. Surely more testing must be better, right? The next checkup on our list may surprise you, because while it's meant to protect your heart, it can sometimes lead you straight into procedures you never needed. Checkup number 2, cardiac stress test. Our hearts are precious. They carry us through every step, every laugh, every hug. So when something feels a little off, maybe you get tired climbing the stairs, or you feel your chest tighten on a windy day, it's natural to worry. Doctors often respond by recommending a cardiac stress test. You either walk on a treadmill with wires attached to your chest, or you're given a medicine that makes your heart beat as if you're exercising. The idea is simple: see how your heart performs under stress and check for hidden blockages. It sounds smart, but after 70, these tests can mislead more than they guide. Here's why. The older we get, the more our bodies show small irregularities that don't actually mean danger. A stress test might label those changes as suspicious, even when your heart is fine. In fact, studies show that in adults over 70, stress tests can give false alarms nearly 40% of the time. And a false alarm is not just a note on paper. It often leads to more invasive procedures: angiograms, stents, sometimes even bypass surgery. Let me tell you about Thomas, a 76-year-old who used to be a postman. He still walked daily, enjoying the rhythm of the streets, but noticed he felt extra tired on steep hills. His doctor, being cautious, ordered a stress test. The results were uncertain. That one word was enough to send him down a spiral. First an angiogram, then a stent, followed by complications from the contrast dye. He spent weeks in the hospital, his kidneys weakened, and yet his fatigue never changed. Why? Because the problem wasn't his heart. It was dehydration and poor sleep. This is the hidden cost of unnecessary testing. It doesn't just touch your body, it touches your spirit, your independence, and your peace of mind. Does that mean a stress test is always bad? No. If you're having clear, concerning symptoms, chest pain during activity, sudden shortness of breath, or fainting, then a stress test may uncover something serious that needs attention. But for mild fatigue, vague discomfort, or simply slowing down with age, it may do more harm than good. Safer options exist. A resting EKG can check your heart's rhythm without putting it under strain. A coronary calcium scan can show whether plaque is building in your arteries with far less risk. And sometimes the best medicine is lifestyle. Staying active at your own pace, keeping hydrated, and eating foods that support heart health, like leafy greens, salmon, walnuts, and oats. Your heart is not a machine to be pushed until it breaks. It's a living, beating companion that thrives on care, rest, and steady movement. So before you agree to a stress test after 70, pause. Ask your doctor, what happens next if this test is abnormal? Will it truly change my treatment, or could it lead me into procedures I don't need? At Golden Pathways, we believe the goal is not to test your heart into fear, but to nurture it into strength. Sometimes that means saying yes to medical help, and sometimes it means saying no, thank you, and choosing gentler ways to care for the rhythm that carries your life. And now we come to the most tempting checkup of all, the full-body CT scan. It promises peace of mind, but for many seniors it delivers the opposite. Checkup number 1, full-body CT scan. Imagine this, you walk into a clinic offering a complete body check. They tell you one scan and we'll know everything. It sounds reassuring, almost futuristic. Who wouldn't want to catch disease before it strikes? But here's the hidden danger. A full-body CT scan exposes you to massive amounts of radiation, the equivalent of hundreds of chest X-rays in just one session. For younger people, the body may handle it. But after 70, when our tissues are more sensitive and our bodies slower to repair, the risks are magnified. What makes it even worse is what happens after the scan. These images often show tiny nodules, harmless spots, or small calcifications that are completely normal with age. But once they're seen, the wheels start turning. More tests, more biopsies, sometimes even surgery. And suddenly, you're no longer living freely. You're living under a cloud of fear. Let me share Marcus's story. Marcus was 80, still teaching Tai Chi to his neighbors at the park. He felt great, but a private clinic advertised a senior elite health package that included a full-body CT scan. He thought, why not? Better safe than sorry. The scan revealed a 3mm nodule in his lung. Small, common, often meaningless. But once written in a report, it became a red flag. He was sent for a PET scan, then a needle biopsy. During the biopsy, part of his lung collapsed. He ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks, weak and in pain. And the result? The nodule was benign, harmless. All of it, the fear, the procedure, the suffering, had been unnecessary. Studies back this up. Research published in JAMA Internal Medicine suggests that the growing use of CT scans may now contribute to as many as 5% of all cancers in the US. Imagine that. A test meant to prevent illness can sometimes create it. This doesn't mean CT scans are always bad. When symptoms are serious, coughing up blood, unexplained weight loss, or swelling, targeted imaging can save lives. But a full-body scan with no clear reason? Experts from the American College of Radiology agree it should never be routine. So what's the alternative? The answer may be simpler than we think. Listening to our own bodies. Checking in with our doctors regularly. Choosing specific tests when there are clear signs. Not blanketing the whole body with radiation in the hope of catching something. Your health after 70 is too precious to gamble on fear-based screening. Sometimes the wisest choice is to trust your body, trust your symptoms, and remember that more testing doesn't always mean more protection. At Golden Pathways, we believe the goal is not to chase disease, but to live fully. Every step, every meal, every laugh with family, those are the real markers of health. A machine can't measure joy. A scan can't measure resilience. So the next time someone offers you a complete body scan, pause. Ask yourself, am I choosing this from wisdom or from fear? Because peace of mind doesn't come from a picture of your insides. It comes from how you live, day by day, with strength, gratitude, and balance. So there you have it. 4 health checkups to be cautious with after 70. Each of them was designed to help. But sometimes, with age, the balance between benefit and harm shifts. A bone scan may label you weak when you're still strong. An MRI may frighten you with findings that are normal for your years. A stress test may send you down a path of stents and hospital stays you never needed. And a full-body CT? It may promise safety, but carry risks far greater than most of us realize. What's the lesson here? Not to fear medicine. Modern medicine saves lives every single day, but to use it wisely, to ask the right questions. What happens next if this test finds something? Will it truly change my care, or could it only bring more worry? Because after 70, your time, your energy, your joy, these are treasures. You deserve to spend them walking in the garden, laughing with friends, holding your grandchildren close, not trapped in a cycle of unnecessary tests and fear. Real prevention, the kind that adds years to life and life to years, doesn't come from machines. It comes from simple, powerful choices. Moving your body every day, eating nourishing foods, resting deeply, and nurturing your spirit with gratitude and connection. At Golden Pathways, we believe health after 70 should feel empowering, not frightening. That's why we share these truths, not to scare you, but to free you. To remind you that sometimes the wisest path is not more, but enough. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these tests surprised you most? Have you or a loved one ever gone through a procedure that turned out to be unnecessary? Share your story in the comments, because your experience could help someone else make a wiser choice. And if this video gave you clarity or comfort, please like, share, and subscribe to Golden Pathways. Together, let's keep walking this journey with strength, wisdom, and hope.